Hi, today I want to show you how to tie a very nice shrimp pattern. So I call it the UV glass shrimp. So this fly is inspired a little bit by flies I have seen here on YouTube, and I've seen some in a group in Facebook. So I wouldn't say it's originally what I've seen, but probably it's made out of experience. I tied a lot of flies with UV glue, UV resin earlier, also shrimp flies, and what I really like is the persistency of the flies. So even if you had some baits on it and caught some fishes on it, normally they stay in form. And yep, so I like to fish them. Even the material is very nice in the water, because you will see. Just tie one and test them, and very nice. So thanks to Coastfly from which is Morten Hansen. It's another channel here on YouTube, who I think one of the first videos I saw was from him. So thanks for the inspiration, and keep it going. I like your videos. So first of all, I want to show you, I use a monofil thread. This is a Uni Mono in fine clear. So it's a fine one. There's medium and large, I think. You need for the legs, I use this Beadalon elastics. That's an elastic band, which I really like to use for the legs for shrimp flies. And it's in 0.5 millimeters. So you got that on Amazon, I think, or wherever. Then as a hook, I use a Partridge CS54. In this case, a size 6, but I also tie this fly in size 8 probably. Size 10 gets a little too small in my eyes. So you need water resistant pens, so whatever you have. And then I use 3 different dubbings. So I use this UV dub, ice dub UV shrimp pink, so that's a color. I use the polar dub in orange, and also I use a polar dub in tan. And then for the tail also I use this Pseudo hair, and it's barred. It has the stripes, and but I think you can use also craft fur, or you can use polar hair, whatever you have. As normal, I say use the colors you like, and do the fly the way you are. For me, it's more educating on how to tie a fly, or just give ideas on what you can do. So it's not that much that I say you need to tie the fly exactly the way I do it, but for sure there's some experience, and probably you like to learn. And then for sure you need UV glue, and as you know, probably there is normally from the different producers there's different thickness in the materials, so which really influences how the material glows and flows around the fly. So I use a thin one and a thick one. So, and I will explain you in the tying instructions when I use what and why, but have to, and I really give that as a tip. I started with a thick one, and I failed a lot of times to get the fly the way I want to have it. And then in terms of tools, hardware, what you really need is a plier. So I have one here. And what I use in the video is an electric cauter, so for medical use. So if you do that, so it gets a very hot tip. So normally use this for cautery for arteries or whatever, bleeding vessels. So very nice thing for fly tying. If you want to create shrimp legs, I will show you. But also pretty risky. So honestly, this is the 3rd video I did. Because always something happened to the leg, so you can cut them pretty easy as well. And then for sure you need a good UV light, so which is reliable. Yep. So then have fun watching the instructions, and thanks for all the new subscribers on the channel, for all the likes, and also for the thumbs down. So if you like on this video, give me please a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or comment if I can do something else, or if you have questions. I really try to answer your questions and to make your life easier by giving you a good answer. Thanks for watching my channel. Bye.
Okay, and now you will crimp your hook a little bit. So don't do more, and be careful, some hooks break pretty easy, so I like the Partridge hook here because it's very robust to do that. So then make your ground winding with your monofill thread. And then I use some dubbing here, and as always use the colors you like, but I use this UV shrimp iced up and do some like a dubbing bulb at the end. Then I give it some polar dub in orange. And after that I use my Velcro brush to brush it out a little bit. Then I give it some more fibers of the polar dub in orange. So this is to build the tail. Then I use this Beadalon elastic for the legs. So I tie in 2 long, which should stand nearest to the tail. I tie them in long and then I cut them later, you will see. So you also can do a single knot into the elastic and create your leg now, but I will do it with a quartering device, as you have seen in the intro. Now I give it a little more of the polar dub in orange for the tail. Yeah, and ideally if you tie in the legs, so you will tie in 4 legs, so try to place them the way that they are the one which is longest nearest to the tail, and then under that the next one, under that the next one, under that the next one. So that should be easily, otherwise you can correct it a little bit with your UV glue later. But the better you tie in the legs now, the easier is your workup later. Then I take this Barrett Pseudo hair, so you can also use polar hair or craft wool. To make the rest of the tail. So the tail more or less is ready. Yeah, then take some shrimp eyes, and sorry, in the introduction I forgot to mention that you need shrimp eyes, but if you tie shrimp normally you need shrimp eyes. Tie them in on both sides so that they stand equally away and in the length from the hook. You also can correct that a little bit with a UV glue later, but yeah, I like to tie as accurate as possible in the beginning, so the easier to work. So yeah, I need to fix my thread here. It has tangled around the bobbin. And by the way, I like the CNF bobbins. So here you can see, happens not pretty often, but tying under these circumstances, it happens. So I don't want to cut it off the video, because this can happen to you as well. So just make a whip finish and then correct it and then tie in again. Yeah, make sure that you create a shrimp body in terms of the shape. So here you see I correct the eye because I don't like the bending, how it was tied in. the leg, sorry. And now I have my 4 legs, and this one brings me struggling a little bit, but anyway, so I will try to correct that with the UV glue. Tie in another one, sorry, so that you have 4 on each side, and then do the same on the opposite of the fly. Oops, sorry, that was my wine glass while I'm talking. Okay, and do a 4th one. So here it's on this side it looks much better in terms of how they should be located. So the longest to the top of the back of the fly, and then the rest of the 3 legs in order. Okay, tie them in and then make a winding to the eye of the hook and then go back. Yeah, now you can start creating the body. I take some Polar Dub in 10 here to do that, and I will do the winding from the hook shank to the eye. And you see I try to make it slimmer towards the eye, not always happening, but yeah. So this fly at the end has a little bulky shape, so you really, on how much material you use here, the shape of your fly will be later. You see in the middle of the shank there is a little hole in the dubbing, so I will correct it now and give it some more dubbing here. Yeah, and then for the UV shine of the fly I will tie back to towards the eyes of the shrimp, and then I give it some UV enhancing dubbing here. It's the shrimp pink, and then you see what I do, just wind it in sparely. Yeah, and then I want to cut all the fibers which stand away, and be careful not to cut your thread, and tie them in with the monofill thread. That's why I'm using monofill thread, so because I want to glue over that with a resin, and you want to make sure that the fibers do not stand out of the resin. The more accurate you work here, the easier to glue later. Okay, it's done, so whip finish the fly, and then you will start gluing with a thin resin. Don't use a thick, so that's really, I really learned that it's easier with a thin because it goes better into the material and stuff. Yeah, and you see me correcting the legs a little bit here. It's a multiple step tying in terms of the resin, so secure the legs as well on that side. And you see this thin resin goes pretty quick into the material. So give it another layer here. And by the way, if you want to create the shape so you can lift the tail up a little more so that you get a more a different shape. So I really glue here with a thin to create first the mouthpiece of the shrimp. Glue it, and then I give it always give it a first layer of this thin material resin over the whole dubbing, because it really goes in and secures better. So yeah, now you will see me doing that. Cut the standing fibers you don't want to have there. So, and now I put a little too much material on it, so you see how fast this goes with the thin. So, but I rotate the vise so I have to cover that, and then yep, so it's curing. I could have left the fly more or less like this, but I give it another layer of the thick resin, which was nearly empty. That's why it's pretty tough to squeeze it out of the tube. So I need to use both hands, but you see that's much stickier. Sorry for my bad English today. Yeah, but you see it's also running around the body, so if you rotate the vise. So I will probably do a second video of that where I tie the shrimp in a different shape. So stay tuned for my next video. I'll probably not do it next, but within the next time. Yeah, so make sure it goes where you want to have it. Give a little more resin where you want to have more. Yeah, and then use your curing light when ready. This is a very robust fly, so even if you catch 15-20 fishes on it, so nothing happens to it. I like that on the fly. So then I wipe off the curing adhesives from the resin with some alcohol pad for medical use, as you know from different videos. And then I use my electrocorder to form the shrimp legs. That's a little tricky, so if you honestly, that's the third video I did, because I cut the legs, so I don't know why. Last second of the video, normally that not happens, but the last 2 times before that fly it happened. And also be careful that you do not burn your fibers, your hackle fibers or your dubbing fibers. So I use some forceps to hold that better. Then make sure that the legs you already have made, that they are away. Okay, so and then I probably cut them, yep, to the length I want to have. I really prefer to tie in the legs instead of gluing them in. But I saw a video from Ghostfly on Eric's hook channel from YouTube where he's gluing them in, which I found pretty interesting. And now you see me, I give a little more resin because I want to have this long leg more in the tail. So now you see it's a little better now. And then do the same on the opposite. So I will time lapse that to not make the video too long. You see I have a little struggle doing that one because there's some resin on, that's why it goes the wrong way. But once I have fixed that, I brought it a little better in shape. But anyway, so this is not the best example of doing it. Anyway, you can see it here, blah blah blah. Do the next one and then do the long one, and try to make it as you do it on the opposite side. Cut them again. Yeah, and you have 8 wonderful legs in your fly. I don't know if you need to have it, but I think they just look good. And if you have a fly you like and you think looks good and you're proud that you tied it, you normally use it, and then if you use it, you catch fishes on it. So then use some water resistance pens and color your legs a little bit so that they probably give an attraction to the fish as well. I always do that by holding them with a forceps and then painting them. I like this orange black pattern, but you also can use yellow or brown or red or whatever you have. Yeah, I do the same on the other side when I turned around the tying vise. Yeah, and then you can give your fly the clear vanish over the resin so that it shines clear, and your fly is done. So have fun fishing it, tying it. Experience makes a master here. So and I will post another one where I do a different shape, so that's promised, and probably I do a very realistic pattern then. Okay, thanks for watching this video, and have a great time, and tight lines. Bye bye.